I hope you enjoy it. The movie tells the story of Ludwig Dieter, the master safecracker from the Army of the Dead, who's named Sebastian Schlenkt-Wunert. He works in Potsdam as a bank teller. He's an expert safecracker and also makes YouTube videos about it. But unluckily, his videos do not get much views. In starting, he's recording a YouTube video in which he tells the story of a famous locksmith, Hans Wagner. He tells that Hans Wagner loved only two things, his family and his work. Sadly, his family died, and during his final time, he created a series of 4 safes. He named them after Richard Wagner's famous opera series, The Ring of Nibelung, relating to Norse mythology. The names were Rheingold, Valkyrie, Sigrid, and Götterdämmerung, the Twilight of Gods. For Hans Wagner, safes were riddles which can be solved only by the one worthy of knowing the secret encased inside. It's widely known that if anyone tries to crack the safe, the contents of the safe will get incinerated, and the safe will be locked permanently. Hans didn't stop at the creation of these 4 safes. He created another safe, the work of his life, a perfection of his talent. He then locked himself inside that safe. People tried to get Wagner out of that safe, but Wagner's work was at utmost perfection, and no one was able to get him out. That safe in which Wagner died was never opened, and it became his coffin, which was discarded into the deep dark of the ocean. It's rumored that Rheingold, Valkyrie, and Sigrid are still in use, but their location is included in the biggest secrets of the safecracking world, and nobody has any information about Götterdämmerung, the safe in the Army of the Dead. After that, he posted his video on YouTube and continued on with his boring life. He takes his breakfast and goes to the bank, where he sees news about a zombie outbreak on TV, which is an obvious nod to Army of the Dead. In the bank, we see a mysterious woman keeping an eye on Sebastian. Later, we see that Sebastian checks his laptop and sees that his video has received a view and a comment from an anonymous viewer. Sebastian gets excited and checks the comment, which offers Sebastian to test his skills and participate in an underground safecracking competition at 8 p.m. The comment includes the location, and also provides a password to enter, which is Götterdämmerung. Later that night, Sebastian goes to the location provided. There he has an awkward exchange with the security guard, to whom he provides the password. That guard guides Sebastian to the venue of competition, where other competitors are already present, and there are many visitors. The host announces his arrival and makes fun of his name, and also starts the event. Initially confused, Sebastian doesn't know what to do, but he figures it out and starts cracking the safe. There are many contenders, but only 4 places in the semifinals. Everyone hurries to crack the safe. We see 3 competitors, Neo, Fireball, and Valiant, have already advanced, but Sebastian is still cracking the safe. He then successfully cracks the safe and secures his place in semifinals. In the semifinals, Sebastian and one other competitor, Neo, move on to the final, where the other 2 are eliminated. In the finals, the timer is set at 3 minutes, but Sebastian shows great demonstration of his skills and cracks the safe in less than half a minute and humiliates Neo, who in turn tries to attack him, but is stopped by the guard. We then get introduced to that mysterious lady keeping an eye on Sebastian. Her name is Gwendolyn, and we learn her backstory, that at the age of 6, she stole her first watch, and she first got heartbroken at the age of 16 and stole her first car, and how she was wanted by police of 17 countries at age 17. Gwendolyn looks at Sebastian and smiles, then she disappears. The next morning, Gwendolyn met Sebastian at the cafe. She tells him how she is that one viewer and how she sent Sebastian to that competition, and tells him how she was keeping an eye on him and knew everything about him. When Sebastian asks her who she is, she tells Sebastian that she is an internationally wanted jewelry thief, and she and her gang perform heists on international banks, and asks him to join the gang. Sebastian thinks it's a prank and is hesitant to join, but Gwendolyn assures him that it's not a joke or prank, and tells him they're going after Hans Wagner's safes, and they'll do it within 4 days. Sebastian explains that it's practically impossible, but she convinces him and gives him time to think. Later, Sebastian has a very vivid dream in which a zombie attacks him, and then wakes up all worked up. He thinks of the offer and decides to accept. The next morning, he goes to the address provided by Gwendolyn. She introduces him to all the crew members. The crew includes Karina, the master hacker, Rolf, the super-fast getaway driver, and Brad Cage, the real-life action hero. Rheingold is located in Paris, France. It's the easiest to crack among the 3 safes. Valkyrie is in Prague, Czech Republic. Sigrid is in St. Moritz, Switzerland, and it's hardest to crack. All these safes are owned by Bly Tanaka. They first go to Paris, as it's the easiest of all the heists. Sebastian panics, and Gwendolyn explains the plan to him. He doubts it, but everything goes as planned. They reach the safe, and Sebastian admires it, and then he successfully cracks it. They take a portion of the money. When Sebastian asks Gwendolyn about it, she says it's about reputation, that this heist will make them famous. Then they successfully get out of there. We are then introduced to Delacroix and Beatrix. They're Interpol agents. Delacroix then explains to them about the Paris heist and Hans Wagner's story, and shows them pictures of Gwendolyn and Brad Cage, and how he almost caught them, but Brad Cage shot him. We also found out that Brad Cage's real name is Alexis Broschini, and he got the name Brad Cage by combining the names of two heroes, Brad Pitt and Nicolas Cage. By his story, we know that Delacroix is very personal about this crew. At their hideout, the gang is celebrating their success by having a party. Sebastian shows interest in Gwendolyn, and we get to know from Karina that Brad is Gwendolyn's partner. He later has a chit-chat with Gwendolyn, and she tells her story of how Brad got his name. He tells her the story of his childhood and how he used to draw comics about a master safecracker and explorer, Ludwig Dieter. Gwendolyn commented that this name is easier to pronounce than Sebastian's real name, Sebastian Schlenkt Wunert. He asks her why she's doing it, and she blames her genes for it, stating her father was a rascal, and she's doing it to get known by the world. She also states that she wants to go to Nevada, as the fourth safe, Götterdämmerung, is there. The next day they go to Prague for the heist, but Delacroix and his team of Interpol agents are already there. Gwendolyn explains that this bank has a very advanced security system and is very hard to infiltrate. Karina explains that she can only stay logged in for 16 seconds in the system without getting detected, and that she will log out and log in again and again till they get to the safe. Sebastian is anxious but is motivated to crack the second safe. They proceed with the plan, but the security guards doubt them and they get in trouble. Gwen fights off the guards while Sebastian just stands there. On the other side, Delacroix and Beatrix doubt something and come inside the bank, and find out that they're in a different bank, and get the information about the location of the real safe. He then races to get to that location. Sebastian and Gwendolyn then reach the safe and start to crack it. The security also press the silent alert button. Brad then creates a diversion by faking another robbery. Sebastian commits a mistake, and all the dials get pulled in, and this means if he makes one more mistake, all the money inside the safe will be burned, and the safe will be locked forever. He then cracks the safe, and the two get close, but are interrupted by Karina, who tells them to get out of there. But Brad got shot in the shoulder while escaping. The robbery causes a commotion, and Sebastian and Gwendolyn escape by taking advantage of the commotion and getting mixed up with the crowd. They get out of the bank. They chase behind the van, and Brad pulls Gwendolyn into the van, but as he's jealous of Sebastian, he throws him out of the van to fend for himself. Sebastian is left alone, and he runs from police and steals a cycle from a pedestrian to run. Sebastian narrowly escapes the police by boarding a train. Delacroix reaches the bank after that and sees that the crew has already left. He gets angry at a police officer when he praises the crew's efficiency. In the van, Karina informs the crew that Sebastian has not been caught. Brad and Gwen fight because of Brad's actions, and Gwen tells Brad that they were supposed to let Sebastian go after 3 heists, not to frame him. Rolf agrees with Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn calls Brad by his real name, to which he gets angry. Gwendolyn tries to leave, and Brad tries to stop him, but she breaks up with him and leaves. Karina also leaves Brad and Rolf to accompany Gwendolyn. While Rolf and Brad go their own way, devastated Sebastian is roaming the streets, and when he returns home, Gwendolyn and Karina are waiting for him already, but he does not notice them. They startle him and he spills his hot coffee. Gwendolyn explains everything to Sebastian. He says that he will no longer help them and he'll return to his old work. Gwendolyn convinces him to crack Siegfried and also promises to find Götterdämmerung. Sebastian is skeptical and tells them he doesn't trust them, but agrees to help just for the thrill of cracking Siegfried. On the other side, Delacroix found Sebastian's video on YouTube and recognizes him, then deduces the connection to the crew. He then informs Beatrix about him. Sebastian again has a vivid dream about him cracking a safe and being attacked by zombies, to which Karina states that it may be a foreshadowing of Sebastian's death. This scared Sebastian, and Gwendolyn comforted him and shrugged the idea off. They're on their way to St. Moritz, where Siegfried is located in the Bly Casino. Delacroix is also there keeping an eye on the casino, waiting for the crew. There they catch up on Sebastian and Karina's communication channel, and find out that they will perform the heist at 5 p.m. Delacroix enters the casino with his team at 5 p.m., but finds that the safe has already been moved out and he gets enraged by it. They got info of it being a target to theft and move out. We see that this information was provided to the casino deliberately by Sebastian and the crew, and they plan to snatch the safe while it's being transported, and Gwendolyn even succeeds to do so. Then we see that the information that Delacroix got was intentionally provided to him by Karina, who misguided him, and Karina has inside information about his plan. We also get a hilarious exchange between the guards that Zac Efron has been transformed into a zombie. After that, Sebastian tries to crack the safe inside of a moving vehicle. Brad and Rolf also keep an eye on the casino. Brad wants to find and punish Sebastian and Gwendolyn. Rolf asks whether Brad has checked the GPS or not, and suggests that he should check and find their location by that. But they also give off their location to Karina, who informs Gwendolyn, but she gets caught by Delacroix. Gwen receives the message and tells Sebastian that he has to work quickly, and he tells her that out of 7 dials, he has opened 4, and he's working as fast as possible. Delacroix asks Karina about Sebastian and Gwendolyn's plan, but she doesn't tell him, so he hits her, but Beatrix stops him. Then she apologizes and negotiates with Karina and promises to take care of her brother, and Karina gives out their location. We see that Rolf and Brad chase to reach Gwendolyn, and Delacroix and his team are also on its way to their location. Sebastian informs Gwendolyn that 6 out of 7 dials are open, but as she takes some turns, this causes inconvenience, but Sebastian manages to open the safe. Both Gwendolyn and Sebastian are happy, and they stop to celebrate. Sebastian says that to understand a person's work, one will have to get completely immersed into it, and he now understands Wagner's work. But as they exit the truck, they see Brad and Rolf, and Brad is holding a gun toward them and threatens to kill them. He asks Gwendolyn to come with him, but Gwendolyn taunts him in response. He shoots at Sebastian, but to no avail. He tries again, but again no bullets come out. Gwendolyn informs him that she took out the firing pin of the gun, and threatens him with her own gun. They both start to argue, and Sebastian punches Brad, which has no effect on him, but instead his own hand gets hurt. Rolf and Brad laugh at him. Gwen then locks them to the truck, and she and Sebastian leave in their car, leaving them behind to be found by Interpol. Delacroix catches up and finds Brad and Rolf locked to the truck. He then punches Brad in the face as revenge for shooting him. Brad makes fun of his name in response, to which he again punches him. Sebastian and Gwendolyn get to Hallstatt, Austria, to escape by boat. In the car, Sebastian confesses his feelings towards Gwendolyn, who shares the same feelings towards him. They both try to escape through a boat, but Delacroix catches up to them and threatens them at gunpoint. In response, Gwendolyn pulls her gun on him. She tries to bribe Delacroix, to which he refuses and asks her to surrender. Gwendolyn tells Sebastian to leave, and negotiates with Delacroix to let Sebastian go, and that he wanted to catch her and Alexis, and if he lets Sebastian go, she'll come with him. Delacroix agrees to it and allows Sebastian to go. Sebastian doesn't want to go, but Gwendolyn forces him to leave, and promises to find him once she gets out of prison, and they will find Götterdämmerung. She asks him to find Götterdämmerung himself if she couldn't make it. After that, Sebastian leaves, and Delacroix arrests Gwendolyn. After escaping through the boat, Sebastian finds a passport made by Gwendolyn for him by the name of Ludwig Dieter, and also a ticket to Nevada. Sebastian speaks to himself about how he's alone now, and that every moment he spent with Gwendolyn will always stay in his heart, and that if there's someone he wants to spend his life with, that person is none other than Gwendolyn, and that he will wait for her each and every moment. And he believes that one day, he and Gwendolyn will be together in the safe of Götterdämmerung. He then sailed off the lake. Sometime later, we see that Maria Cruz and Scott Ward from Army of the Dead find Sebastian's place, which now goes by Ludwig Locksmith Shop. Scott Ward is looking for someone to crack a safe. The shopkeeper sent him to Sebastian. Scott Ward shows him the blueprints of the safe, which happens to be Götterdämmerung. Sebastian gets excited by seeing the blueprint and accepts the offer. He also tells them the story of how Hans Wagner named Götterdämmerung after the last opera of his favorite singer, Richard Wagner. This ties into the sequel movie Army of the Dead. In this movie, we saw that the dedication for a purpose is more important than money, as we saw Sebastian crack all the safes because of his admiration of Hans Wagner's work and his own passion, and not for money. Similarly, Gwendolyn also wanted to mark her name in history by this heist. We also learn the power of love, and see how Gwendolyn, out of pure love, sacrifices her freedom for Sebastian.